And welcome back to The Zone. I'm Brant.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Jay.
And this is episode 437 of Zone 4 Live, right here on Comic Frontline. Thanks for joining us. It's going to be a fun show. We're gonna talk about some stuff, and Chris is going to disappear.
No, I'll be here. I just won't have anything to say.
I know. That's what I meant. He disappeared to the background. How about that?
I actually did. When you get to, I did look at that. I did look at that stuff. I didn't have a chance to watch it.
Yeah.
Before, so yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll get into it, and if you have anything to say, you can jump in and make fun of stuff. I don't know. That's what you'll do.
Oh yeah, that's what I do. I like to poke fun at everything and everybody. Nothing's safe.
Yeah. So before we get too far, we are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. You can find us on comicspodcast.com each and every week. Check us out over there. You can also follow us on social media at Zone 4 Podcast. And for early access to the show and for Zone 4 Aftermath, check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Brant Fowler. And yeah, all kinds of stuff over there. And I'll give you all those links again at the end of the show. And thanks for the viewers that we already have in the chat and everything. So if you want to ask us any questions or whatever, we're going to be talking about the Haunting of Hill House and Heroes for Hire stuff later on. But we got some other stuff to talk about. One news item this week, Reign of Superman trailer came out, and we're going to talk about that because it's kind of a good segue because last week's show ended with a Man of Steel debate, and so now we're going to go into Reign of Superman.
And that's where Tevye is going to show up.
Well, maybe. I'm sure he's got thoughts, but
I'm not in the comments this week, everybody. I'm actually doing a little bit of work off screen, so I thought Tevye might have popped in at that.
I do want to say. Speaking of comments, we do want to say hi to Legend Storm and Sundown, who are both in the comments.
Absolutely.
Hi, guys.
Hey, everybody. And anybody else who joins us later, and if you're watching this post live, thanks. And if you're listening to the audio version, thank you for that as well. Leave us a nice review on iTunes because it does help. Yes. Just throw it all in there.
And even if you're watching us live right now, go on iTunes when this goes live and leave it a positive review anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you hate Apple like we do and you don't use iTunes, make an account just to like it and then leave.
Yeah. And if you don't listen via iTunes, we're on a whole bunch of different podcast apps and stuff like that. So go find us, Stitcher, etc.
Yeah.
We're not shamelessly promoting ourselves right now to get some likes.
No, not at all. Just promoting and letting you know where you can find us.
Or maybe you two aren't, but I totally am.
Jay's honest. We're liars.
Yeah.
We're not.
I just have no shame in my game.
Yeah, I did. Hey, you can't have in this. No, you can't.
Not nowadays. People. No, not nowadays anymore.
No, not at all. So, Reign of Superman trailer is out, and it was like a 2-minute trailer. It's more than we got before, and it was pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. I will say that I do have a slight problem with some of the voice acting, you did too.
A little bit.
Yeah, but other than that, I thought it looked pretty good. I thought the animation was pretty solid. Not the best animation we've seen from a DC film, animated film, but still pretty good. Better than the New 52 animation style, I think. And
isn't it the same animation style? Are you sure?
Is it? Maybe it is. Maybe that's why it
looks like it's following, because I mean, even the Justice League was in this trailer, which that was one of my little so we're going to continue with the Justice League being connected to this, even though they weren't connected to this. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just been so long since I've seen one.
Just got used to it. No, don't feel bad, because I used to complain about the same thing, and then I just got, you get used to it, and it's like, didn't even realize.
Now that you mention it, it is the same design for Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. I didn't even pick up on that, but you're
what bothers me.
These are the New 52 designs.
Yeah, you're right.
See, that's the one thing that bothers me, is the Justice League is in this. Why is the Justice League in this? The Justice League was not involved. There was the four Supermen and Hal Jordan.
Well, it's also... You also have to think they're probably going to include, because Superman, Death of Superman wasn't Death of Superman, Return of Superman. It was the Death of Superman, Funeral for a Friend, then Return of Superman. So the Justice League was in the Death of Superman.
Of course. So
everybody took on.
Yeah, you're right.
And then Death of a Friend, Funeral for a Friend. They were in that part, where they buried him and all that. and then he was they they are in the aftermath of it all. So the reign of Superman extends. I think it's just showing that it's a bigger universe there. And if this stuff happened, it wouldn't be happening without Wonder Woman appearing and Batman showing up.
That's right. I like that Wonder Woman and Lois scene where it's like the two girls, the two loves of Clark's life, the previous and current kind of talk.
Yeah. No, I like that, and I like the design of the 4 Supermen that we saw. I thought still looked pretty good. I mean, he was like bulky enough as like he should be, and big.
John Bogdanoff made him bulky when he first came out. That was John.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that they did him justice. Is what.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I agree with you.
Yeah, and Superboy looked cool. I thought
very classic.
But very classic
with the modern twist too, because they do have the New 52 suit on him, kind of, but he has the leather jacket. Take note, Brian Michael Bendis. That's the way the modern day Super Boy with the jacket should look like.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought when I saw it too. I was like, why didn't they just do this for Young Justice? But no. And Cyborg Superman looked good. I mean, the voice acting was dead on for that one, I thought. And
because it's supposed to be the same voice as Superman. Right, that's the whole trick.
Yeah, and Eradicator looked pretty cool too. Again, a modernized version of that character.
Yeah,
I thought. Yeah.
So I always liked the black suit with the red robe. That I always I thought it looked better because it made him look alien.
Yeah.
Well, each one is supposed to represent a different aspect of Superman.
Yeah.
Right.
Except Clark Kent. None of them really represent Clark Kent.
So, voice acting wise, I thought Lois was a little bit off in this.
That's Rebecca Romaine, I think, is doing her voice.
Okay.
Because it's Jerry O'Connell and Rebecca Romaine are doing Lois and Clark.
Yeah. Jerry O'Connell, I don't have a problem with. Rebecca Romaine.
He's done him a few times, I think, so far.
Yeah. And Lex Luthor.
That was the one I had the problem with.
I'm sorry. You're not going to go Superman animated series Lex Luthor or DC animated universe Lex Luthor? Don't do anyone. Because honestly, that's who I hear when I hear Lex Luthor's voice. I'm sorry.
And this voice was higher pitched, and it was just like, what? That's Lex?
It sounded like whiny.
Yeah, whiny.
I was just going to say that, like a whiny voice to me. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all agreed on that. And the announcer at the very beginning, who are these guys? And it was like, what? That's what you're going with script wise. I mean, I thought the dialogue was poor there. It was like, who are these 4 guys? And it was just, whatever. But overall, I think it looked fun, and so we'll see. It wasn't a whole lot to go on. I mean, which I like because they didn't spoil it. I mean, obviously, we
know what it is, but at the same time, they didn't spoil it for new people, and they didn't spoil the new stuff they put into it. I like the twist with Cyborg Superman this time around, making other humans with superpowers. It looks like that's going to be like the big issue.
Yeah.
And Bibbo looks like he's going to be leading the people that we could be heroes without powers. Oh man, that looks interesting. It really looked interesting, that part.
Yeah, I think the whole trailer looks really.
Oh man, we forgot to check out the death battle thing again. SM Down was asking again.
What was the death battle? Where is the death battle?
It's where they do like
There's an echo.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, it's probably me. I'm gonna mute myself for. Oh, actually, I'll leave and come back. Give me a sec.
He shared it a couple of weeks ago. It's a channel that they do those superhero battles.
Oh, Bat in the Sun Productions?
I don't know if it's that one or if it's a different one, because we were talking about that, and he said, have you ever tried this one? And I keep forgetting to look it up, and I apologize, that's him down.
Okay.
I've been sick, and I've been busy. If I haven't been sick, I've been busy, and if I haven't been busy, I've been sick. So I'm sorry, man. I'll get eventually. I'll catch.
Yeah, I'll check it out. If you post a link in like the Discord or something, or in the comments after it goes live. What is their post live?
Yeah, what does TCH stand for again? SM Down. I'm gonna actually pull it up on a tab just so I remember to check it out this time. I apologize for that. Anyway, yeah. So we'll talk more about it once we're able to see it. It's out soon, so
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah,
really can't wait for this.
Actually, I'm sure you did too, Jay. But I got an email with the press release about it today.
I did. I got an email. I get emails.
Okay, cool.
I think I get emails because I was with press for New York Comic Con for so many years, so they sometimes send me stuff still.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. I get little heads up.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, so just a few other things. I want to mention this because as a wrestling fan, I know we have wrestling fans watching this. Roman Reigns, man, on Monday Night Raw, and it's funny because I didn't watch it until last night, and
I reached out to you before that because
that's what I was gonna say. Is I got a message from you saying, "Oh, OMG, Brant, Roman Reigns is being real," or something. You know, it's like that. This isn't script. This is real life. You gotta. I'm not gonna spoil it, but you gotta watch it. And I'm like, okay, and I'm expecting like, okay, it's some shoot on Brock Lesnar or something like he's done before, right? And then I start watching it, and then it's him in the middle of the ring telling the world that he has to step away because his leukemia from 11 years ago has returned, and he can't fulfill his duties and has to relinquish the championship and walk away and go home to kind of deal with this for a while. And man, that was the most real I've ever seen Roman Reigns. I mean, he starts off by saying, "My real name's Joe," and just kind of letting it all out and, you know, talking about everything. And you see the fans, because at first they're doing their regular boo thing, and then everything just goes dead silent. And then everybody's just like cheering Roman. And then it's at that point you realize that, hey, you know, all these fans are like, okay, you know what? We like to boo the guy because, you know, he got over at the expense of another guy we like. But when it all comes down to it, we're happy to see him, and we don't want anything like this to happen to the guy. So it was.
They're just fans. They're not, you know, they're not idiots.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a really
impactful. I have to interrupt you for a second. There was one fan, and it was on Instagram, and he got a lot of heat for it. He wrote an article saying, "Why am I going to thank Roman Reigns?" And then he wrote down how Roman got the most pushes out of everyone. He doesn't deserve a thank you. He didn't do anything. His matches were this, it was that. He's like, I don't want to see the guy sick, but I really am not. I'm not going to thank him either. Yeah, a lot of people got pissed off at that. I got pissed off at that.
You can think that, you don't say it.
Yeah, and whether you like it or not, this fan, he's one of the top guys in the company because he's proven that he's a workhorse. He's there every week. He puts the work in, you know. He does all the press stuff.
He was pushed. He was still there. Look now, if you want to put hate on Brock Lesnar, that's a different story. I don't want to see anything.
He's never there.
But he's never there. I mean, even when Roman walked out, they had that segment on the WWE.com. Triple H was there. Hunter was there. Not Hunter. Triple H, HBK was there. Paul Heyman was there. Where was Brock Lesnar? Nowhere. Braun Strowman was there. All the WWE divas were there. People were saying goodbye to him as he's walking out the door. Every single superstar from Raw was there. Was Brock Lesnar there? No. So if you're going to write a hate piece, write it on Brock Lesnar, who's never at the freaking events.
Yeah. I don't know. People like that just can't separate the reality from the storylines.
And again, it's a business. Yeah. So, like, there's always how do you say it? A spotlight on someone. Like when I was growing up, Hulk Hogan was the big guy, you know?
Yeah. And see, that's the thing, and not to cut you off, Jay, but that's the thing. That's the reason. And half the people boo John Cena, but it's a family program. It's, you know, it's not edgy like it was in the 90s. It's a family program like it was back in the Hulk Hogan days. And John Cena and Roman Reigns are over with the kids and the women mostly, and some of the guys. So it's like with the majority of the crowds, they're the guys.
To see those people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So of course the company's going to be like, this is what they want. This is what we're going to give them. You know.
Exactly.
So when Up steps up and has a good storyline, then you can get that spotlight. You know, you can get people in your corner and like rallying around on Instagram. And I see like I can say for John Cena, like I see him everywhere. You know, he does movies, he does talk shows, so he's putting himself out there. So I can see him with the spotlight, and I'm sure Roman Reigns does the same exact stuff. You know, he puts himself out there. He does, you know, his social media and all that, and that's what gets you the attention. That's what gets. It's all about you earning that spot, and you may say he didn't earn it wrestling wise or whatever. That's all scripted and everything like that. They go by your demographics, like who's watching the show for this person, and that's who they're going to play out for.
And even watching to hate the person, sometimes the hate brings in more people than the love.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing in wrestling. They always say if you're being cheered or booed, you're good. It's when they're quiet that you're in trouble.
Yeah, you walk out and nobody does anything, then why are they even paying you? You walk out and people are throwing stuff at you and booing you, then they're like, okay, we got ourselves a star. Exactly. And they come out and they're standing up and cheering for you, we got ourselves a star. Yeah. So whether you're, booed or cheered, as long as people are making the noise and are, paying for those tickets to see those people, and buying that merchandise right outside of the ring, because they got those, stands all set up right there. So as soon as you get out or before you even come in, you can buy merchandise. They go buy that too, So they see what sells. They see what people are following on Twitter and Instagram and all that, and what people want to see, and that's who they promote. And if he earned that spot by that, then he did it smart business wise, and you gotta respect the person who can do that.
Yeah, and both Roman Reigns and John Cena are those they're anomalies where literally they get half boos and half cheers, both of them. And so it's like they're getting the best of both worlds then. And people don't realize, hey, you're the reason they're getting pushed.
Yeah, so, and then that even causes even more thing because the Roman Reigns fans and the Roman Reigns that's his name, right? Roman Reigns, you said?
Yeah.
And the Roman Reigns haters are going at each other, and that brings his name even more up into topic, which again tells the WWE this is the guy we got to pay attention to because look at them. They're going at each other for this. You got people going at each other. That's sparking interest in it. They're going to be watching it. They're going to be cheering for him and booing for him, And this is from somebody who doesn't know anything about wrestling right now. Like, again, I didn't even know the guy's name. I was like, I thought that's what you guys were saying, and I thought that was his name because I did see the article, and I thought that was his name. I couldn't remember it. But, it's like if they're seeing that, that's what they're going to put out there. Yeah. It's like if Superman did not sell at all.
Yeah.
DC would go to another character as their flagship character. Like, look what happened with Marvel. Spider-Man sales were down. Iron Man sales were up.
Yeah.
They pushed for Iron Man to be the flagship character. So just to put in perspective like that, that's for people who like me are not into wrestling. When Iron Man sales were higher than Spider-Man's, they actually made him the flagship character for a while.
Yeah. As some Dunn said, most times when people are talking being a bad wrestler, winning or losing is not how they're accessing. They're accessing on botched moves, or if only can do basic moves. Yeah, and I understand that, but for one, it's more than just the moves in the ring. It's about the entire package.
And let me tell you, Seth Rollins hurt Sting. Seth Rollins hurt another wrestler. And he was considered dangerous. And one of his moves actually was banned because of, the excessive injuries it caused. Yet, I love Seth Rollins. I think he's a great wrestler. But you can't judge a wrestler by his technique because, look, Seth Rollins is a great wrestler. However, he's hurt a lot of people.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Hulk Hogan was the same thing as John Cena. 5 moves. Basically all
my God. Look at Ric Flair. He was 2 moves.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, it's
about the echo.
Yeah, it's echo. It's about the entire package and how you connect with the fan.
Yeah. You have to have a full-on thing, And again, this is the day and age where social media plays a big part in it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's very active on social media and everything. So, again, I don't follow wrestling like that anymore. My era is gone. But, yeah, I understand the logistics of it because that never changed, Just the style of them has changed, but that has never actually changed.
Yeah. And, if they were botching moves like left and right, like Brie Bella is right now, where she's making like terrible mistakes in the ring.
She hasn't been in the ring forever.
I know it's. I mean, you don't know Jay, but man, she was kicking somebody, and she literally like for real life knocked her out.
Is that the one that was going to get married or was married to John
that's
Cena?
her sister.
No,
her sister. Okay.
Yeah.
That's Nikki.
Because I knew when you said Bella, I knew that the show was called The Bellas or Bella
Total
Wrestling.
Bellas.
So,
She's the one that had oh God, what is his name? Leave me for
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan's child.
Yeah.
Daniel
Bryan's another one of the top guys, and she's married to him, and then Nikki was engaged to John Cena.
Aren't they engaged? Aren't they engaged? What's up with that?
They broke up because he didn't want to have kids.
Yeah.
But now they're dating again, I heard.
Huh? Oh, I don't know about that.
I heard they're dating again.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with it.
I don't either. I just heard it.
I just knew that because it was on like talk shows and stuff. Maybe the talk show circuit. It was on Access Live. I think when he broke up with her. So and people were like, "Oh, it's all staged." And I was like, "I don't care."
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, that's the thing. Nobody really cares if it was staged. That's the funny thing. It's like, come on, for real? You wanted to waste our lives for that long?
It feels like everything with John Cena is staged a little bit, but whatever.
And we wonder why he doesn't.
He likes to brag that he can talk in Mandarin. He loves to brag about that.
Yeah.
I don't even care about that. I didn't even know that until right now, so I'm glad he bragged.
Yeah, he does. Every time he's on the talk show, he'll say something. Wherever he's saying, he'll say it in Mandarin. And you'll be like, "Oh, you can talk Mandarin," or you'll say, "Oh, you can talk Chinese," and he was like, "Yeah, I learned Mandarin when I was over in China filming whatever."
Yeah, it's because he's trying to right now at least he's trying to push that he's been doing work with Jackie Chan lately.
Yeah.
Oh boy, he's been working with Jackie Chan.
Yeah, you might not have seen it, Chris, but on the Super Showdown, the Australian thing they did, he debuted the sixth move of Doom. He literally called it that. And it was just like it was supposed to be some kind of karate move or something, but he just ran and hit the guy with his forearm. And that's how he won the match. It was like it was terrible. But anyway, I want to say one more thing about wrestling, and then we'll move on from that.
Make sure it's not about John Cena because that's not wrestling.
No, it's about something Michael Cole said. That's the lead announcer on Raw after the Roman Reigns stuff. I really appreciated the way they handled it because they turned to the camera and they said, every week we come to you from an alternate universe, and this is the way he worded it, and it was just like it was pretty cool. He's like, we're characters and we're coming out here to entertain you. And sometimes we forget that these are real people dealing with real life things, and our thoughts and our prayers and everything go out to Roman Reigns and his family. And I thought that was really touching. And one of the other announcers, Corey Graves, he's like really good friends with Roman Reigns. This took him by surprise, and he was like crying. And this is a tough guy.
Everybody was crying.
And he was talking about how their kids play together and stuff. And I appreciate that in those moments that they break character and they come out and just kind of talk to the fans real. So that's all.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, we know that it's fake, and I'm glad that that they can put that aside, and fans obviously can put that aside. Most fans can put that aside because that one guy didn't. But
one guy was an ass.
You can put things aside, and you can get real for a little bit, and thoughts and prayers with him. Hope he beats it, and
he will beat it. I have all the confidence in the world that Roman Reigns will beat it.
Yeah, me too.
Leukemia is a very hard disease. I know two of my cousins have it. So
Roman Reigns is a very hard individual.
Well, I mean, he's beat it once before, so hopefully he will beat it again.
I'm just staying positive. Yeah. I just keep
of course.
Punch it. That's all he's gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, you would like him, Jay, because that's his move. He does a Superman punch.
He literally flies through the air and punches the person.
He does when he starts off. He does this thing. He goes down to the ground and pounds the ground, and then he cocks it and punches and jumps in the air and punches them. That's like his setup for his.
I'll have to look it up.
It's cool. That's the one. See, when I didn't like Roman Reigns as much, I'm like, sure, of all people, he has to have the Superman punch. And Braun Strowman has the big Superman tattoo on his forearm.
Yeah. Well, so does Shaquille O'Neal. That doesn't mean anything.
We don't talk about Shaquille O'Neal. Oh my God, you had to bring that up.
Hey, I would like to. If I had the money, I would like Shaquille O'Neal's mansion with the big Superman statue outside.
Oh,
Nice. That would be cool.
Did you guys see that? He has a Superman room.
I know.
And then outside, it was on. I think it was on Access Live. They showed his house. They gave a tour of his house. They showed the Superman room. It showed his basketball room. It showed the pool and all that outside. And outside, it was like a big statue standing there of Superman.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
I wouldn't mind having the house.
I tell you, the rich fans of Superman truly know how to enjoy Superman.
Rich fans of anything,
yeah,
they know how to enjoy their fandom because they can afford that.
Yeah.
But I only follow the Superman fandom, so all I know is like something really cool with Superman. I'm like, wow.
I mean, there are Star Trek fans who built rooms that look like a starship.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, we've seen like Batcave.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, there's a few people who have Batcaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
They look awesome. I'll take a Batcave. I don't care.
I would too. Oh man! All right. So with that, it's topic time.
It's topic time.
Look at that. Even with Chris here.
Freaking time. Hey.
All right. So we got two topics this week. We're going to start with the one that Chris is going to fade off into the background on.
I'm not going to fade off. I'm right here.
I'm kidding. The Haunting of Hill House, which
I fade off it. I had to do it.
Which hit Netflix a week and a half ago now. Jay and I have watched the entire thing. I binged it in like just a few days. I don't know how long it took you. Probably less, Jay, knowing you.
Night.
Yeah, probably. We paced it. We could only take so much at a time. But it's the season for that kind of talk. So we thought we would discuss the Haunting of Hill House. And if you're not familiar with what it is, it's a Netflix series, 10-episode series. It's kind of a ghost story. It's based on a novel that was published back in I think the 50s.
59, I think it was.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, you might be familiar with the story because it was translated twice into movie form as The Haunting.
Right. Yeah, once in the 60s.
Oh, that explains why Netflix got The Haunting put on there.
Yeah, and then there was another one in the 90s, I believe. What I hear is the 90s one took a lot of liberties, and the 60s one was pretty faithful.
Yeah.
And echo, Chris.
I'll have to mute my mic for 5 seconds. Okay.
And then this one does a little bit of both. It's a little bit faithful because it does all the names of the characters and all that. But they change it up by making them a family, which I think actually makes it more interesting by having it a family.
Yeah. The original story was like, it was more like the typical, like The Conjuring and other things where they were people that went to investigate paranormal activity. And that's not what this was. This was about a family of people that went and flipped houses, and they happened to go to this house one summer, and then some creepy stuff happened. Yeah,
they flipped houses in order so they can make their own dream house, so this way they can have their forever home. That's what they were working towards, and they found more than that in this house. And overall, I think I enjoyed it. How about you, Brian? Did you?
Yeah. Overall, I thought it was a fantastic series. I really enjoyed it. The only problem I had, and I think we differ in this, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but the ending I liked, but at the same time, it felt a little sappy to me. Other than that, I thought it was.
It wasn't the ending I thought they were going to go with.
Yeah.
Because can we give like a little bit of spoilers or anything?
Yeah, let's do a spoiler warning. If you haven't seen it and you want to see it, go watch it first and come back. I don't know if you have your spoiler warning thing ready, but
I'll get that up.
Okay.
Just a second.
Just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
We'll spoil a little bit of it. We'll try not to spoil too much.
Yeah, just so because I didn't want to say if we weren't going to go there that way, but
there's some things I want to talk about. So
yeah, me too. So I want to. All right, so this is your spoiler warning, people. Full disclosure. Chris comes in and there's a spoiler warning.
I know. Warning, Chris is back.
Red alert, Chris is back.
It won't be the last time I probably have to go in and go out and come back.
Probably not.
Right,
Why Adobe makes my microphone echo? I don't understand that.
I don't know. That's weird.
I honestly thought it was going to end with everybody dying.
Yeah, I kind of thought that at least
everybody doesn't die. Minus 10 points.
Yeah. Lisa and I thought they were going to leave the two that were the least believers alive, and everybody else was going to die. That's what we thought.
That could have been a way too.
What's that, Chris?
So basically, everyone lived.
No.
Yes. Well, not everybody.
Well, not everybody.
Okay.
But I thought more people were going to die, and that kind of makes me a little nervous that there might be a sequel to this because I don't want it to be watered down because this was such a great one and done that I think it should stay a one and done.
Yeah, you can't do stuff like that as a series. You water down.
This got a great reception. Like people were on social media like crazy. I can't sleep tonight.
In this case, in a movie like this, though, you can do something different next. Like American Horror Story. Every season was different.
Yeah, see, that's the way that I could see it going forward is if a different family moved
and a different situation,
or a different person or whatever, a different situation completely not used. But the problem is with the way it ended. Yeah, you would have to revisit. Yeah, you would have to revisit because we'll just spoil that part. Certain ghosts of that family are still in that house.
Certain ghosts that we've seen throughout the season, that were seen in the season, are in the house. So like they are, and the thing about the house is it hungers. So it wants to eat people's souls. Like it wants these souls to stay there. And by going in there, you're feeding it, and you become a part of the house in a way. And if they do that, they would have to go back and revisit this story because you can't just say, "Oh, they never." Especially because the way it ended was that it would never happen again. It can never happen again. Right. But they go back there, then we're going to have to adjust that. Or if another family lives there or something, we're going to have to adjust that. Unless they do go back to the original way that it was written and have the 4 people or 5 people, whatever you want to do it.
Paranormal thing.
Yeah, they go into the house without his knowledge or something. Yeah. And they do it that way. Then I can see that happening.
I can't last the whole season doing something like that.
They could. I mean, theoretically, it could.
The way this season was constructed. I mean, it was half flashback,
non-linear. Yeah,
it was
non-linear
because. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was gonna say there's like times where like the main story because there's like 2 main stories. Okay, we follow them like what would you say 20 years ago, Brant?
Yeah, it was 15 to 20 years, I think, had passed between.
Yeah, because he was like, the twins were 6 when we first meet them. And then he's at least in his 20s, So I would say at least 15, 20 years later. So it starts off like 15, 20 years ago. And then it will show them today. And then we'll get like parallel stories of what happened back then and what's happening now.
Is it kind of like it?
What?
No, I wouldn't say it's like it.
Okay.
No, it's okay. Well, we'll just because this happened early on. What happens is during that summer, their mother commits suicide in the house. She kind of goes crazy supposedly, and she commits suicide. So then you fast forward to present, and they're kind of dealing with this, and their family has kind of broken apart because of everything that happened in the house.
Right.
And before that,
go ahead.
Sorry. Before that, we seen that the house was haunted. Chris, mute because the echo.
Oh my god!
Just mute it. Just mute it.
Yeah, just mute it. You don't have to go off.
I want to say something.
Okay. Did he say he was going to say something, or he said
I want to say something, and then he went mute?
No.
I gotta love him.
Well, unmute when you want to talk. Anyway,
I said I'll mute when I'm not talking, and if I have something to say, I'll unmute.
Okay.
Coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Cool.
All right.
but yeah, so the house was haunted because like the twins each saw because there are 5 children. You got the oldest son, the oldest daughter, the middle daughter, and then a set of twins, a boy and a girl. And the twins each saw something. The mother said, because she says that her family has the touch or something like that. I forget what she referred to it. It wasn't the touch, but like they have something in them that allows them to have extrasensory gifts. The mother gets it with the headaches and the migraines. The 2 twins, they see dead people. The middle daughter has like this touch where she touches something, she knows what it's going on with it. Like she can see past, present, and future with it. And the second daughter, we didn't really get the oldest daughter, we didn't really get to see her power, like what her ability is, but not her power, like her ability. I guess that's the only way I can say it, ability. But she does talk in her sleep, and it was like weird stuff that she would say. So that was weird. And then you got the oldest son, who was like the normal one. He was the one who didn't do anything. Like he didn't have anything. He never saw a ghost or anything. But they've all seen or at least sensed something was wrong in the house. Like there was knocking all over the door, the walls. But when the father came in the room, or the mother came in the room, one of them, it stopped. Like they didn't hear it, they didn't see it, they didn't feel it. But the 2 oldest daughters saw it, you know? So it was like all kinds of stuff like that. So before the mother killed herself, before that night, we know that already that the house is haunted and that the family is sensing this, like as the show goes on. And that's a part of it. And we get to see that night in its totality throughout the series. So we find out what happens on that final night from beginning to end, but it's like in pieces. So like you'll get like a big chunk of it in one episode. Then a couple episodes later, you'll get another big chunk of it, and then like the finale, you get the ending of that night. So I like the way it was paced like that, because I think if they just would have done it in any other way, it would have had less of an impact.
Yeah. And I think it added to the mystery of it too, because you're only learning bits and pieces of it at a time. So you don't get all the clues at once, and you're not following it. Like you said, it's non-linear. So yeah, I think it served the story better, and it served the characters better. Doing it that way. Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was interesting because it could have gone so many different ways. It could have been.
You didn't like horror, by the way.
I know. I don't. Yeah. I don't typically get into horror, but it was the mystery aspect of it that like really hooked me.
Yeah, because what's going on with them.
Yeah, because it's like I gotta know. Even though it's kind of spooky, it's like I gotta know. I gotta know what's going on, because what I heard is it could either be like supernatural or it could be like mental illnesses, and they touched on that in the show. Like the oldest kid thought it was mental illness. He thought they were all affected and it was in their genes and everything. And so it was interesting to see like what it resulted in being. And still, even though we saw the ghost and everything, I could still see it being like this. They could play it either way. Really.
Yeah, psychosis.
Yeah, it could be like a group psychosis.
Or could it have been environmental because there was black mold there, you know?
Right.
You know, black mold causes psychosis. So
and hallucinations and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
So like there's all kinds of different things going on that it could have been. Or one thing that could have been, because in the finale we find out that like when I forget his name, the oldest son, Steve. Okay. Steve is having like his like they all go back to the house and in present day, and Steve, they're all in this room, and Steve is like they all get these I guess you would call them visions of like things that are particularly related to them. Yeah. Like and Steve's is that he's in the he's with his wife, she's pregnant, his estranged wife, she's pregnant, and he's writing a book. And then it goes down a route where we find out that the wife's not his wife, you know, it's, you know, the house. And the way that it's presented is it could have been all Steve's book, you know?
Yeah.
So with Steve being a writer, it could have been his book the whole time.
Right.
So it still could have been, you know, you don't know, because I think at the end he's still writing a book and he is the narrator. So it could have all been just Steve's book.
Yeah. It's so many ways it could have gone. It was just so complex, and all the characters are complex and complicated, and the way that they're dealing with their loss in different ways. It was just, I don't know, it was really powerful storytelling. I was kind of jealous of it a little bit, because
very emotional.
Yeah, very emotional, pulled on your heartstrings here and there. And just like once you get the reveal of when certain things happened, it makes it even more impactful. Like once you realize that what was the girl's name, the youngest girl? It's like,
because she has the nickname
Nellie. Yeah,
Eleanor.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of her real name and didn't think of her nickname. You went about the other way. You remembered her nickname and then remembered her.
That's funny. But once you realize that it was the very first night that she saw the broke neck lady, it makes it more impactful the whole time, because at first you knew she saw her, but you didn't know when or how far along in the story it was at that point. And so once you start getting the reveals of things, it's like, oh, that means so much more now on different things. So
especially with the revelation in episode 5, which is titled "The Broke Neck Lady." So
that's one moment I want to talk about, because as soon as I saw that, I was like all over social media. It's like, episode 5, man. I told Mike, I was like, episode 5, and when he got to episode 5, he's like, oh man,
I couldn't sleep with the lights on.
Yeah,
I had to sleep with the lights on. I just slept like a baby the whole time.
I know. It's just, and I'll talk about the reason why it affected me so much in a minute. But when we have,
and Brent and I have a connection to this episode. Like we both liked different episodes, but it both is connected to the same exact character. So when Brent gets done saying it, I will counter it with mine, because I think both of them were great episodes.
Yeah.
And I understand why Brent liked it, but I just think because I figured it out earlier that it didn't have the impact that it had with you. Like,
yeah, that's true. I can see that. So just real quick, when we catch up with the characters when they're grown, you've got, again, Steve is detached. He's writing this book, but he's still wrapped up in this whole world. He's the only one that's like totally absorbed in this world, because he's writing books about ghost stories.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's a nice contrast that he's the least believer of this whole phenomenon, but he's the one that's focusing so much in on it.
Yeah, because he figured out, and we find this out during his story, is that he couldn't write anything. Like, none of his books were getting published. Yeah. They were like, oh, we don't need this right now, we don't need that. And then when he wrote about because they became famous because of the mother suicide and all that, and the haunted house and everything, that he wrote a book about that. So it kind of like, almost like he pimped his family out. And that's how the one sister saw it,
Yeah. And I didn't see it that way until you learn that, he's kind of using their deepest, I don't know, their deepest, darkest secrets, their emotions, all that poured into that. And, it was, I think.
Plus, it's like he also talks about like the night his mother died, which is kind of like, if that happens to you and your family, you don't want to like have someone else, like even someone that's that close, to tell it, like, because you don't want, especially in this case, like they were already a spectacle because of that, and then like just putting more focus on these people and that time in their life again. So I can understand them being mad at him for it.
And you find out that he slept through most of it, and he wasn't even there for most of the experience of it until like right at the end when his dad carried him out to the car. So yeah, I kind of understand. I think Shirley took it too far. I think she got too upset about it, but I think that was part of, once you get to that point, I think that was part of her denial of everything. She just like totally internalized everything. It was just like, no, none of this is real. And, you know, then it becomes very real for her. But Luke, man, him and Nellie, the twins, were obviously the most affected.
Yeah.
You know, he becomes a drug addict, and he can't deal with what he's seeing and what he's experienced, because he saw that thing in the basement. Nobody believed him. He's seeing this girl that everybody thinks is imaginary, which we find out it was an actual person, which I kind of figured. Yeah, go ahead.
No, at first I thought it was going to be the daughter that died.
Yeah, I did too.
And
then
when she was talking to the mother, and I think it was like episode 8 or something, she was like, when I found out that you had twins about my child's age, I was like, okay, that's her.
Yeah, exactly.
She said that, I was like, okay, that's her. She's real. That's her. It's not a ghost. It's a real person.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing. And then Nellie, you know, she's still seeing things, and she gets this sleep paralyzation and all this stuff that we learned later on. And so she's dealing with that. And then,
which is also connected to her death.
Right, exactly. And then what the middle child's name? I can't think of her name either. Yeah.
She has a weird nickname too.
Yeah, that's why I can't think of it. But she wears gloves all the time because, like you said, when she touches people or things, she gets that. And she became a psychologist, which is kind of crazy. Her whole arc where she discovers this foster parent that's molesting his kid. That was just to think that you would get those sensations, that you would feel what these people are going through and that kind of thing. It's just, I can understand why she detached herself from people in general, didn't want to feel anything because she feels so much. So I just think each one of these characters went through these interesting arcs, and for the longest time, you don't understand why the dad is out of the picture. All you know is that he left. And you don't know, like, well, did he go to prison? Because he's being investigated for the murder. I mean, for the death, you know, if he had any part in it, because she was bruised and everything. We find out why she got bruised. Yeah.
In the finale, we did find out why.
Yeah. Which they telegraphed a bit, because you saw the rat poison a few times in a couple episodes before that. You know, so you knew that something was going to happen with that. You just didn't know what.
Yeah.
So just so many layers to this show, man. But getting to episode 5. So Nellie, from the very beginning, has been seeing what she called the broke neck lady, which is just a silhouetted woman, female figure, standing, you know, with her neck bent over her, like when she's waking up from sleep, and she's got this paralyzing fear. She can't move. And the very first time she sees her, they both scream at each other. And we don't understand, you know, like when this is happening and everything. And so the broke neck lady comes back in her adult life, and that's when it all starts over. And Nellie eventually goes back to the house and kills herself, hangs herself, because she's hallucinating and she's seeing things, and she's seeing her mom. And I told before it happened, I said, oh my God, the what do you call it? The pendant that she's going to think that's a noose. Locket. Yeah, the locket. And she's going to think that's a noose. I told Lisa, I said, she's going to think that's the noose. And Lisa goes, oh, no. And sure enough, that's what happens.
Real fast, Theodora.
Oh, yes. Theo. Yeah, that's it.
That's why I knew it was a weird name, because a girl's name is normally not Theo.
Right. Funny story, we didn't realize that she was even related to them at first, because in the beginning, you only see the 4 kids. You see the twins, you see Shirley and Steve. You don't see Theo for that entire first episode. She's not there. And then all of a sudden you see her as an adult, and it's like, well, is this a family friend? Well, she's referencing being there. And then finally you see that she's...
And it doesn't help that her and Shirley look so much alike. It's hard. Like, you were like, is that her, or is that someone that looks like her?
Right.
You know?
It was funny. And it's like, okay, well, they do have a 5th kid. Where was she? But then you realize, like, she's a loner and she's always off on her own. I just thought it was weird, because that first night when the dad checked on all the kids, he went in every kid's room, but not hers. So it's like, okay, that's weird. But yeah, so she when she dies, and major spoiler alert, because this is like one of the big moments of the show. I think episode 5 at the end. Just if you don't want to know, pause it, fast forward, whatever.
Yeah.
So when she dies, she immediately floats down through the floor, and you see her seeing herself at different points in time, going all the way back.
This is in different episodes.
Yeah,
that led up to this too.
Right, from different episodes, from the hotel, which was the very last time that she saw her, all the way back to the very first time in the house when she's 6 years old, and you realize then that the entire time she's been haunting herself, and she's seen her own death from 6 years old, different points throughout her life. Mm-hmm. And that has just this profound effect on me because of that realization that she is the cause of her own psychosis, her own haunting, her own fears, her own death ultimately. And that just shook me, that aspect of it. It wasn't seeing the Brokeneck Lady. It was that aspect of it that was just so emotionally wrenching to me. And just
maybe her husband's death too.
Yeah, maybe her husband's death too. Because
did the Brokeneck Lady cause the husband's death, or did he really have an aneurysm?
It could be both. It could be such a incredible fear of seeing her
see his neck snap. When you stand there, his neck goes.
Yeah, and the thing is, he was a lot closer to her than Nellie ever was. Nellie was at a distance where she could never make her out, but he was like right there. So if he saw his wife dead right in front of him, I could see that happening. Mm-hmm. So, man, it was just that wrecked me, and all I could see was her face. Go ahead, Chris.
No, nothing. I just was fixing because I had the chance to.
Oh, okay. I thought you had something to say.
No, it sounds very interesting. It sounds like I wonder if Gwen haunted herself. I mean, she had a snapped neck too.
Maybe. She definitely haunted Peter. But yeah, so that just wrecked me for a while. I honestly, I slept with the light on for a few nights. I thought it was
something else. You always sleeping with the light on because of that. Oh,
yeah, because you'd have to see it. The buildup. The buildup is what got me.
Yeah, because I can see why. I can honestly see why Brant got affected, and anybody got affected by it, because it's the self-realization. It's like the self-fulfilling prophecy, almost like she saw herself. She was haunting herself for years, so she was ruining her life, making herself.
She even knew it.
She had to go to a psychiatrist and everything.
Yeah. She was seeing multiple psychiatrists, and ultimately it was a psychiatrist that told her, go back to the house, which is what killed her. So
it was it was like she essentially killed herself over the psychosis, and it was all because she already had killed it. Like it was a done deal. Like she could not have gotten away. She could not get.
No way to
her fate was sealed, that she would die and she would go back and haunt herself.
Yeah.
So
and it felt like after she died, and you see it from the perspective of dead her hanging with her bones sticking out of her neck kind of thing, and that realization in the dead her was as moving as the realization in the kid, because it was like your own personal hell. You're seeing this, you're going all the way back in time, and you're seeing all this, and you're reliving every moment, and it's like, oh, that hurt me so deeply for her. Yeah. So that's why it affected me.
Yeah, my big episode came like an episode or two later, where we go back to the flashback, and we're seeing like Nell again being the center of the episode, because we're dealing with her funeral in the present day. Mm-hmm. And in the past, there's this big storm coming, and the family's like, trying to get all together, and they're trying to find Nell, and they're like, going, Nell, where are you? Where are you? They're going all over the house. There's all this weird paranormal stuff going on. And then by the end of it, Nell and in the present day, the family's all fighting. You know,
Yeah.
the brothers and sisters are fighting with each other. The father is like cause of a big strife because he's there and he wasn't there while they were growing up. Their aunt raised them growing up after that night, and in the past they find Nell and she's like, "Why didn't you guys see me? I was yelling for you and no one came to me. You act like you didn't see me. Don't ever leave me." And all this again. She's like, "Promise you'll never leave me again." And they promised her and everything like that. And then in the present day, they're fighting and the lights all go out. It was just like what happened in the past. The lights all went out in the house and everything. And then you see Nell there and she's like, it's like after her coffin just falls and everything. Mm-hmm. And then her like ghost is just there and she's like, "Don't leave me, I'm alone," and it just sends chills because she's it's like she's again crying out from her childhood to now. It's like that self-fulfilling prophecy again happening again. So she saw herself dead. She knew that people were going to leave her because they were fighting and all that. And I just like the way that was shot and that was done. That was such a great.
I'm gonna finish, Jay.
No, I was saying that's a great scene for me.
Yeah, no, I was just asking how long the episodes were. Were they an hour each?
Like about 50 minutes.
No, so they're an hour. Yeah, when it's 58 minutes, they're basically set for an hour. So it was 10 hours altogether, the series.
No, there were a couple episodes that were longer. I think there were one or two that was like an hour and 10 minutes or something.
Yeah. So that's why I say like some are 50 minutes, some are like an hour and 10. So it all balances out to about 10 hours worth of stuff. Like maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less.
And it was the whole series was back and forth, flash, present, and past.
Yeah.
But it's so well done that you don't even realize, like you don't even get annoyed by it. Like some shows you're like, "Oh, come on, stop with the flashbacks already." This one you want them because you want to know what happened in the past and you want to know what's going on in the future, and they tie into each other so well.
Yeah,
that was my concern. Okay.
Yeah, it all related to what was going on in the present too, just seamlessly. And it wasn't anything like I don't know if you've ever seen Arrow, but where he'll go.
I've seen one episode.
Yeah, he'll go, and then it'll flash back into something he's thinking about, and then he'll come out of it. It wasn't anything like that. It was much better done.
Yeah, this is way better done. I love the format of the show. If they do something else with this, I hope they do like a whole other take on it. Like not do the same house or anything. Like just do another horror show with a similar style, but not the same story. Like that they could do. But this had great success for them. I mean, people were all the talk shows were talking about this. Mm-hmm. All the everybody was talking about it. It made local news too. Like my local news was talking about it because people were going to social media saying how frightened they were about episode 5 and how episode 10 shook them so bad that they couldn't go to sleep at night. Like that's how people were reacting to it online. And I got to see it personally because Brant and Mike were having the same reactions. Yeah. Like, again, I'm dead inside, so it doesn't count by me. My brother ruined me.
Because horror movies do the same. Don't affect me that way either.
I disagree with you though.
That's why you sent
Brant. You were messed up after The Conjuring. You were messed up.
I was saying that's why you sent Brant The Conjuring.
Yeah, you were like, I don't want to watch this ever again. You said to me.
Yeah, but I want to see the second one now.
You totally did a Joey Tribbiani. You put the book in the freezer. By sending it to Brant.
When I watched The Conjuring, that movie was nuts. I actually lied. I did watch it again though, Brant. And I was like, oh, I want the second one. I want to watch the second one.
The things that affect me are the things that I feel like could really happen or that affect me like deeply emotionally, like being dead.
The more deep, real character stuff.
Yeah, that's the stuff that really gets me because it hurts. And, I do believe in an afterlife. So it's like, that just shakes me sometimes. What's up, Tevye? Tevye just dropped in the comments.
Oh, my God. It took him that long? Wow, you are late.
He was busy, man.
You're late.
He's got things to do.
Maybe he was watching the last couple episodes.
Yeah, maybe he was. I know him and his family were watching it for sure. We talked via my newsletter about it. So, what were you gonna say, Chris?
Late.
Oh, late. And you're echoing in.
I give up.
Should we spoil about the room, or should we leave that one alone? Because there's. What do you think?
I saw it coming.
Bad.
Chris, you're still echoing.
Oh, am I still on?
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it coming, like episodes and episodes before the ending. I think it was like, I forget. I think it was the episode where she was doing the cold-hearted snake dance. That's when I figured it out.
Oh wow, I didn't figure it out quite then. I was suspicious when, like, Nellie came to the caretaker, and then Steve came, and they both said I was in the like toy room or game room or whatever, and she would go, "What room?" And then I was like, "Lisa, did you just cast that?" Because she doesn't know what room they're talking about. They must, that's kind of when I started to piece it together.
Yeah.
But once you get that full reveal where it's like they were knocking at each other and they all had like extra rooms, and Lisa was saying the same thing. She was like, "Man, they got a lot of rooms in this house." Each one of them have basically 2 rooms. Because there was a family room, there was a game room, there was a toy room, there was a reading room, and it was all the same room.
The tea room.
Yeah. And
her quiet room, the mother's quiet room.
Yeah. For Chris, there's this room with a red door that nobody could find the key to, and they couldn't get in. But and the thing that really got me was when Steve and his dad was driving to the house, and he goes, "There's no tree house." And he's like, "What?" Luke was in that all the time, and that was the room too. It was a tree house, which is crazy. It was just
morphing room.
It was a morphing room that like was sucking them all in.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really bad.
That was like an echo and an echo and an echo.
It's getting worse. So yeah, it was just a really good show. Great character moments, like we talked about through this whole thing, and like even though the ending was sappy for me, at the same time it was a good ending. It was a good ending for the family, and it left them with a little bit of peace, even though they lost 3 of their family members.
Yeah, it was a happy ever after, at least for them. Like for who was left. Like we didn't get the like, oh, they're perpetually doomed. It was like, okay, after this horrible stuff happened, now they can go live their normal lives. Yeah. So.
Tevye liked the ending. He said the Haunting of Hill House is amazing. I like the ending. So,
yeah, I didn't mind the ending as much as Brant. Like I wasn't upset by it. Like Brant wanted like a darker ending. I think
I just wanted something different than more it's a happy ending,
more dramatic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like more of that. Like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Like something like that. A twist.
Yeah, something.
Yeah,
but Lisa said to me afterwards, and I was like, okay, well, that makes sense too. She said, "You know what? I needed that kind of ending after that show." And I
didn't want like when I saw again, what's his name? The youngest one, Luke. When I saw Luke sitting like laying there with the needle in his arm and all that, I was like, "Oh, please don't die." I was like, "He's been through so much. Don't let him die." Out of all of them, don't let Luke die. So I was like really hoping Luke didn't die, and then I liked it. The only part I didn't like about the ending was Theo taking off her gloves and like leaving it behind. I would have liked if she kept them on, because she should have still had her premonition power or whatever.
Exactly. That bothered me too. It's like, well, she's just gonna feel everything willingly now. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Like I like that about her, because it made her different than everyone.
Tevye expected Poppy to be the main bad guy. I mean, Poppy kind of was. She was kind of manipulating
she was.
the mom the whole time.
Yeah, she manipulated the mom. She went after the father. She was the one. She's responsible for the original guy to be buried in a wall.
Yeah, I mean that's what set it off, because her and her husband were both in a what do you call
mental hospital?
Mental hospital. Yeah. Sanatorium. And so
that's where they met.
He was so messed up, he bricked himself in a wall. I mean, you got to be
her machinations,
Yeah.
And then I liked how they played it out with her, because we didn't get her we didn't even hear anything about her till episode 8 or something. Like we didn't hear about her till 8 or 9. It was like when he was doing the table. Like we didn't even hear about her until then. So I like that. And then but it didn't. It wasn't like, oh, we didn't hear about her. It doesn't make sense with the story. It was like, no, we didn't hear about her, but her story still fits in with everything. You know, it still works in.
Yeah, and I still like that. You mentioned the black mold earlier. I still like that's a possibility, because the little stand with the mirror that he painted for her, he painted over the black mold.
Yeah,
and gave it to her, so it's like she's even more affected. And yeah.
Oh yeah, and definitely you can see it, like even in the Red Room when she's in there, it has mold all over it. Yeah. So like you definitely wonder what was the actual cause. And I like that. I like that. Yeah. You know, it could be black mold. It could be, you know, they're all just genetically crazy.
Yeah.
It could be you know, an intense night led them all to be, you know, screwed up for the rest of their lives. It could be Steve's writing a book. It could be the black mold caused them to do it. Like there's so many possible explanations for it that it could be just what they said, and the house is haunted.
Yeah, it could be the house is haunted and producing black mold to make them crazy. It could be anything.
Yeah, anything. And I like that. I liked how they didn't like they left it to where this is what we're saying happened, but if you want to think this, go ahead.
Yeah. Tevye asked us a question. It says, why couldn't the house be burned when the match was lit? I think, and this is
like it's like the, what do you call it? It's like Amityville. You can't knock the house down.
Yeah, well, yeah. The dad said
it protects itself.
The house won't let you, but I think either it just like nothing happened and it put it out or whatever, or it shows you hallucinations. He could have just thought he threw the lighter on the floor and didn't actually throw it. But either way.
Or maybe he didn't actually have gasoline in there either.
Yeah, but they all smelled it when they came in, but that could have been the house too. I was afraid because, you know, she had seen the vision of him dead. I was afraid he was going to think it wasn't on fire and walk right through it and burn to death. I was scared that was going to happen.
You know what was really good? Luke had this thing. You know Luke's little thing about protecting himself? He was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They had to be in a certain order. If you look at the first time that they walked in the house, they were all in that order.
Oh, wow. I didn't notice that.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like you see that in, like, I think it was the last episode when we see them first walking in the house. That's how they are in the order. And that's why Luke said it has to be in this order. 1, 2, 3. And it was like really great.
That is good directing right there. That's good scripting too. That's just that kind of attention to detail and kind of just layering it like that. That's really solid. That's why this is such a good show. It's so careful with all that stuff. Yeah.
You know who I wouldn't like to have known who it was the big guy. Like, where does he fit into it? Like, because he was the one who was haunting Luke, and we never really got it.
No, they did say that. When Poppy was telling the mama's story or something, she talks about she kind of doesn't really address him by name, but she talks about she does like this little poem thing, this little limerick thing, and she talks about how he wanted to be big, so when he died, he was. And she was talking about Mr. Hill.
Oh yeah, I just want to know more about him, like, you know.
Oh well, I think it was the guy that bricked himself in the wall.
Yeah, so, I'm saying, like, I want to know more about him. Like, why was he going after Luke and all? Like, why was he going into the rooms? Like, I want to know more about that.
I think I don't know why he was. I think he was looking for his hat. I think it's because Luke had his hat.
Oh, that would have been
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, I think that was the connection to Luke.
And we never saw what happened after he like reached underneath Luke's bed. Night.
Right.
Like, it just never showed that. So I can see them, like, if they revisit it, show us more about like a character like him or some of the other ghosts that like Mrs. Hill. We never really got to see her. We just saw her like actually only in the finale. I think we saw her. We heard her a couple times, but we never actually saw her until the finale.
Right.
They did a great job with like the costuming and the makeup and all that too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad the caretakers made it back there to be with their daughters.
Yeah.
I knew they were going to be there because when Nellie was there and all the people were around her at the end right before she died, I saw him. He was standing there, the male caretaker. So I was like, oh, why is he dead? And then of course, you know, it plays out. But
yeah, what I didn't understand now, because it made no sense really. The mother was like, "But I'm all alone. I'm all alone."
mm-hmm.
Like, do you not know that your daughter's in the freaking house with you?
Yeah,
Like Nellie's there with her. Like she's not all alone. Like Nellie died in the house. You were right there when she died.
right.
The
Yeah,
mother was there talking to her when she died.
Yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense. The only thing I could think of is because Nellie was going in and out of time, and I mean, maybe that's it, that she was leaving the house somehow,
Yeah.
because I mean, we saw her in different places, and
I
she,
didn't see that.
yeah, and when she was in the room with her siblings, she kept saying, it's all out of time, and I didn't understand it then, but now I do, and kind of thing. So maybe that's the only explanation I got for you. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like that was the only part I was like, I wish it was like more than just like, oh, we got to the follower. I wish it was just more than that, because that was just like, they just did that to do it. But yeah, and I love that, because again, Hill kept following Luke around, even as an adult. So that's why, I was saying, I want more of that story too. I would have liked more of that story. But what would you give this story overall? If you had to rate the whole season?
Oh man, it'd be pretty close to perfect for me, I think. I mean, because it gave me so much. I mean, even though I wasn't completely happy with the ending, I think I was still scored because I kind of agree with.
I would agree.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you and Lisa on you needed that kind of ending after that deep of a story.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I would give it, I think I would give it a 5 too, just because, 5 out of 5, because even though I had my little problems with it, that's my personal preference, my writing style, my this, my that.
Yeah.
I had the same conversation with Kat about a Power Ranger issue, even though I would have written it this way, I still enjoyed the story that way,
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I would still give it a 5 stars because I think they did an excellent job, and it's something that you don't see anymore. Everything's always so gory and it's all jump scares. This is very psychological. This is very story based, plot based. It's not like, oh, this is just something we're doing for tricks. Ooh, look, we can make something float. No, it's all very psychological. Is this happening? And again, we said that different ways that it could have been explained. It was it's all up for interpretation. So I really like the way that they approach this. It was totally unique, and I hope Netflix, if they do something like this again, they make it again unique and not just a duplicate of this. Because that's the thing with especially streaming services. They're like, oh yeah, this is great. Let's do another one next year, for Halloween.
Right.
And I don't want them to repeat this story because even though we've seen it happen with Stranger Things did that. They were like, oh, it's so popular, let's get another season of Stranger Things. And again, Stranger Things 2 was great. But I'm saying I can't see this being a continuation and still have that ending.
It doesn't need it. Toby said it too. It doesn't need a sequel. I agree. It doesn't.
Yeah. I'm not saying I want a sequel. I'm saying I know how they work. They're like, we want to pop. Because Stranger Things, I think, was supposed to be a one and done a show. Yeah. And then they went on, and now there's 3, and then a movie or something like that. But and there was another one too. I can't think of it, but it was so big that they came back and they did it a sequel to it, a second season. I can't think of it right now on the top of my head. But yeah, so I can see them doing that with things, and I just hope that they do it as something in the vein of it. I wouldn't mind an annual Halloween series like this, something every year they come out with this chilling, haunting story, but not the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. All right, so those are our ratings. Hopefully you guys liked it. I know Tevye you did. And now let's talk about some stuff that Chris can join in on. We're going to talk about Iron Fist and Luke Cage got canceled. Everybody knows this. It's not news anymore.
Disney's going to take them.
Whoa. Right.
Echo. Oh, jeez.
You're just going to have to unmute every time you got to talk, yeah. Echo and air conditioning, yeah. So in at first it was Iron Fist. It was just Iron Fist, and everybody, like most people, were like, "Yeah, we understand that." Of course, we all loved Iron Fist. It was fantastic.
All three of us.
You all are crazy. SM
Yeah.
down. I'm sorry, I disagree. Iron Fist was amazing.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and season 2 is even better than season 1. So I really loved it, and I'm like, with that ending, you got to go somewhere. And then within days, maybe the next day, I don't even remember, Luke Cage gets canceled, and then everybody's
like 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, "Why'd they cancel Luke Cage? It was doing so well." And I'm like, "That's my least favorite. It sucks."
It was. And you didn't see season 2, right?
I saw like 4 or 5 episodes of season 2.
All right. Are you okay with me saying something about the ending of it?
Yeah, because I don't know when I'm going to get around to watching it.
All right. I did not like season 2. Let's see. SM Down said, I don't care about Iron Fist got canceled. It sucked. I kind of wanted season 3 of Luke Cage. I didn't like where season 2 ended.
I thought Luke Cage sucked. Jessica Jones would be a little bit below. Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are my 2 least favorite. Daredevil and Iron Fist are my favorite, and I don't know how the hell we got another Punisher season coming, but apparently we have another Punisher season coming. Iron Fist is my absolute favorite.
Yeah, Iron Fist is my favorite too. Jessica Jones and Daredevil are kind of neck and neck for me now, because season 2 of Jessica Jones was pretty solid. And I like the stuff with the Purple Man. I just didn't like the slower moments in Jessica Jones. But Luke Cage, and Jay and I have said this multiple times, first 6 episodes of season 1, really good. Everything else sucks.
Yeah, it drops off. It's like we had the story, we wrapped it up, and then we were like, oh crap, we have 7 more episodes to do, or however many episodes left to do, and then you had to fill it in. And the same exact thing happened with season 2. Yeah. They were like, oh crap, we had to do it. And there's this one scene in the show, and I defy anybody to deny this. We have Black Mariah and Luke Cage together in the prison. And Black Mariah is, sitting across from him. They're talking. And both of them give out lines that neither one of them really want to say. You can just see it in their faces. Like, the actors were like, really? We had to say this? Black Mariah had to say the N-word, and he had to say the B-word, Yeah. It was like, be please, And the way that they were saying it was like, I don't want to say this, but I gotta say it because I'm contractually obligated to say the lines, It's one of those things, like, they didn't even want to say it. And Luke Cage proves that old adage where you live long enough to be the villain of your own story. He becomes the kingpin of Harlem.
Oh no.
He becomes the king of Harlem. Yep.
That's
garbage.
He runs it. He's kicked out Pops because he's part of the underworld now. Like, he's
running
running
that at all.
Oh, that's garbage.
That's everything he fought against. That
exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
He became. That's what I'm saying. He becomes the villain of his. The show lasted long enough that he became the villain of his own story.
Oh, that's garbage.
It was bad. Like, I didn't want that. Like, season 1 ended at least with him still holding his head up high. You may not like the season ending, with him going back to jail and all, but he was stuck to his morals. He stuck to his code, his ethics.
And he got out of
season 2.
Episode 1.
Season 2. Yeah, but I'm saying a lot of people didn't like that he went to jail. And at the end of season 1, but at least he was still the same guy. Yeah. This in season 2, he wasn't the same guy by the end. He was a darker Luke Cage. He's like wearing his tie and suit, like he's running the show. Like, the limo driver is like his second hand man, like his right hand man. It's his what was the guy's name? Shades. That's like his Shades, Like, the limo driver becomes his Shades, his second in command and all that. And I was like, why would you do that? Like, that was a horrible ending to that season. And it made me, when I got done watching, I was like, I hope they don't do a season 3. I honestly said, I hope they don't do a season 3 because they just ruined the character.
I think they cancel Jessica Jones next. I think they're just taking a break from announcing cancellations. I think she's going to be right behind them.
Well, I think it's going to go by how the season 3 is received. You know,
Yeah.
If they get good, because they said Luke Cage. A big problem with Luke Cage was there was no social media on it. Like nobody was talking about it on social media.
Nobody cared.
Yeah, but at the same time, and this is why we titled the episode what we titled it. I still think that the reason that they canceled both those shows because they're heading towards a Heroes for Hire.
Oh yeah,
I mean
that makes sense. It does. Yeah, it does make sense.
They've slowly built up a relationship between not just those two, but also Colleen and Misty, and that whole thing because you saw them build their friendship and. You're going to bring those four together and do a show together, and it just makes more sense that way.
Do you think it will be on Netflix, or do you think it will be on Disney Play?
Disney.
I think it could still be on Netflix. It depends on how long Netflix is contracted, has the rights to everything.
You said the magic word, contract. If their contracts are still good, it'll be on Netflix. If their contract is up because they canceled the solo shows, it'll absolutely be on. Disney will not renew contract.
It just I think it depends on how the remaining seasons they have do, like Jay was saying, how well they do on Netflix, whether they decide to keep them there or move them to another service completely.
People are talking about Daredevil. I've yet to watch season 3 of Daredevil, but
I've watched 3 episodes so far.
Yeah, it's pretty much, if you like Daredevil, it's Daredevil. Like it's, I would say it's more Daredevil season 1 than Daredevil season 2, because Daredevil season 2 was really Punisher and Elektra.
Yeah.
Daredevil was hardly in there.
Yeah, it's back to Matt and the Kingpin. That's
that I know from the trailers.
Yeah, so you like season 1 of Daredevil, you'll like season 3 of Daredevil, I think, so far. But yeah, Punisher, I don't know how that got season 2, because honestly, I know a lot of people who still has not got past episode 2. They were like,
I haven't even started it.
A lot of people didn't do that either.
Yeah. I just can't. I don't know why. I liked that half of Daredevil, but just the thought of watching an entire series of that, just that with no other characters.
Yeah, I lost it. I have no interest in that. I could fully admit I had it on my list, but
to be fair, I've watched every Punisher movie, and I'm not really a Punisher fan. I can never get into the comics and stuff, so I may have a bias against it already internally, even if I did like him in Daredevil.
No, I just feel like there's nothing he can do. What is he going to do? What is the?
He's going to kill a bunch of people.
Who needs to watch that?
This was my problem with it. They essentially told his origin again in season 1, like it was all about his origin, but we got that in Daredevil. Season 2. So it was like we already got why he is the Punisher. He became the Punisher in there. Like, so Daredevil is Punisher is my least favorite series, and then it goes with the Daredevil. Again, I know I'm the minority on that. Everybody loves the Daredevil. I just didn't really get it. Daredevil and Luke Cage, I think, are like tied for me, because Luke Cage had a really good beginning of their both seasons, but they had really crappy endings.
Yeah.
And Daredevil, I just don't like the portrayal of Kingpin and the choreography for me.
Tevye said that Bushmaster was a great villain, and I think there was potential for Bushmaster. I did like his character. What, Chris?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Bushmaster
he was being 5 years old at the name.
A Bushmaster is a snake. That's why he's called that.
He's a snake. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, they're going through the entire Serpent Society.
They are going through the Serpent Society. That's why I laughed.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's like
I'm going 5 years old.
Yeah, it's like find some other villains that aren't snake themed, but whatever.
Aren't C-list villains?
Well, that too. But
Luke Cage also doesn't have like a big rogues gallery,
right? And I get that, but I mean, I thought presenting him with a villain that was his equal, quote unquote, because he had to do something to get that way, but his equal in strength and everything that could actually take him out was interesting. I like that aspect of it, but the show in and of itself was just boring, and Luke Cage was out of character even by episode 4. Yeah, I thought.
And he gets worse as it goes on.
Yeah,
but after they fight in episode, I think 6 or 7, they had this really big fight at Rand Industries. You're like, okay, Bushmaster should just go away. Like, the story's over. No, he's back. You know, it's like they don't know how to conclude things. You know, they don't know how to say, okay, we're done with the story, we're going to move on. They had to drag it out, and they just ruined like Luke Cage for me. Like, I love Luke Cage in the comic books. I read him. I read you know, Iron Fist in the comics, and I stopped reading Iron Fist comic book. It's the first comic I dropped in over a decade because I did not like what they did with Danny in there. They did. It's equal to my feelings on what they did to Luke Cage at the end of the season. Is equal to what they did to Danny in that comic book. And the, what was it called?
I can't remember.
Michael reviewed it.
Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't Immortal.
It wasn't Immortal.
It wasn't Immortal. It was I forget what it was, but
yeah, I can't remember what it was called either. I know what you're talking about. Which one you're talking about though?
But that's the one that I had to drop, and they did exactly like how I did not feel like it was Danny in that comic book. I did not feel it was like Luke in this show. Like season 1 was Luke Cage. You know, he was the man of the people. He was bringing you know, justice to Harlem, trying to clean it up and all that. This one, it was more like he was trying to almost justify himself being down in the dirt with them. You know? Like he was trying to justify that.
Yeah.
I think the reason that Iron Fist got canceled and got as much flack as it did was because the first season it was so popular to hate it that when the second season came around, you know, everybody wanted to be popular and hate it when it really is a very good series. The reason people hated it was because they wanted to make Danny wasn't, and they didn't like the person who was cast. First, they wanted him a specific race.
They had a lot of problems.
Yeah,
with it.
If it wasn't,
but let's be honest. They honestly, they hated on the show before anything came out of the show.
Yeah,
because they casted a blonde white guy to
play a blonde white guy.
Play a blonde white guy. I mean, like I'm so shocked by that casting.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I know.
Like that was like the kiss of death for that show.
That was the beginning of the snowball.
Yeah.
And it kept rolling down the hill until they decided to
I still don't think any of that's the reason they canceled it, though. I think they canceled it to do Heroes for Hire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see that, Brant. I'm just saying, like, I do think though that played into it too, because I think they could have done it at season 3 because this was a really strong season. Like this was better than season 1.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I do agree with some of the critiques that season 1 got. Like the choreography wasn't as good with him. And that's also not his fault because he only had like 10 days to learn the choreography when everybody else on all the other shows got longer time.
I still didn't have a problem with it. I mean, I
didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But I can see where they were saying it at.
I think it improved in season 2.
Dan was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Popped in for 2 seconds and then he was talking beyond Daredevil season 1, so he popped off because of spoilers.
Oh, sorry about that. But, you know, obviously a lot of people disagree with us. Everybody in the comments is disagreeing with us, too.
That's fine. I mean, hey, I think that Iron Fist was the strongest, followed right behind by Daredevil, and then Luke Cage was my worst. I'm kind of glad it got canceled, especially the way season 2 ended, apparently.
Yeah, I agree. And I hate that because, like you, Jay, I really like Luke Cage, and I love that Bendis I love that Bendis made him you know, kind of a household name as far as comic fans go again. And kind of brought him back to the spotlight. And I was really excited when, you know, he popped up in Jessica Jones and then they're talking about his own series. And then you see that first half of that first season. It's like, man, this is really good. I loved everything about those first 6 episodes. I loved just every element of that, but then they just ruin it and they keep ruining it and they keep making it worse. And yeah, so. No, Luke Cage should have been canceled because it was sucking.
Yeah. I hate that they let both of them off on cliffhangers. You know, with Luke Cage being the villain and with Danny, you know, having the Iron Fist but not being the Iron Fist, and you know, Colleen being the Iron
using
Fist.
Guns. That's weird.
That bothers me. Even like with Lois and Clark when they ended it on the cliffhanger they did. If you're gonna they should have at least finished it. They should have found a way to at least put those at a nice finale instead of just not the Iron Fist, Kingpin of Harlem, and who knows what Jessica Jones is going to have in store for us. And I haven't watched Daredevil yet, so I don't know how that
unless it's merging into another show, then you are going to get
which is fine. No, yeah, if it merges into another show, then that's a finale. Then that's a finale for characters.
Down Rock says, once again, I blame the showrunners. I agree with that on the fact that it ended on cliffhangers. Like, unless you have a season set up, you should never end on a cliffhanger.
No, you should.
Never end on a cliffhanger unless you know already that you were picked up for another season. Like, you know there's going to be 3 seasons of your shows, then do a cliffhanger for season 1, season 2, and end it with season 3 on a strong note. You know, don't say, oh, well, we may get a season 3. No, then you end as a clear ending. Like, again, House on Haunted Kill, clear ending there. You know, I like
have 2 different scripts written and film the one that you need to film.
Right. You know? The one with the cliffhanger and the one that has a definitive end.
Yeah, or at least have a scene that can wrap it up. If it's if you find out you're getting canceled, have the scene you can add in. Do something. I mean, there's ways. So.
You know, if all the shows end after their contracts are up, like after what we have already on plate ends, they will have 13 seasons of Marvel shows. So it would be like 13 episodes, 13 seasons, you know. So they could end it all at like because we have 3 seasons of Daredevil, 3 seasons of Jessica Jones, so that makes 6. We got 2 of Iron Fist, 2 of Luke Cage, that makes 10. 2 of Punisher, that would be 12, and 1 of Defenders, that's 13 episodes, 13 series, 13 seasons of shows. So because Punisher season 2 is coming, and Jessica Jones season 3 is coming. That's why I counted those.
Yeah, I want to read a couple of things Down Rock said. He said, "There isn't enough action in any of the shows. Is my main complaint about them. I don't read Marvel comics, but I totally expect all-out action." And then he said, "The shows don't seem like they're made for fans of the comics." I disagree to a point on both of those. Just this is me personally speaking. For one, I wouldn't.
Amount of action. I will say that right off the bat.
You said what?
There was a nice amount of action, especially with Iron Fist.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want it to be personally. This is me, and I don't like this in my comics either. I wouldn't want it to be wall-to-wall action.
Right.
I don't want it constant action. I need those dramatic character. Yeah, I need those character moments.
Yeah,
and I like that when I'm reading a comic too. I don't want it to just be action scenes like 90s comics were. I need to know these characters. I need to care about them. That's my personal.
Otherwise, why would I care that Danny doesn't have the Iron Fist at the end of season 2 if he doesn't? If I don't get to know him, like if he was just a guy who was punching people, I wouldn't care about him. Like why would I care about what's his name? I can't think of his name now. The Meacham.
No, I can't think of it. Joy and Ward Meacham.
Yeah, Ward. Why would I care about Ward if I didn't have those character moments with him? He would just be guy in the back number 1. Like you have to have moments where you care about a character because it makes you come back for episode after episode. Yeah, you can have. I think like all out action is good for like a movie, like a blockbuster,
or like Expendables or like Avengers.
yeah. Like if you have like a movie and you're like, it's just like you want a popcorn fest. You just want a big budget, popcorn fest, and you just want to sit there and you want to watch it. That's great, all action. But when you have a series, you want to have a reason to come back for the next episode.
It's like your crossover events. You want that to be mostly action, but your serial, you want it to break down and show you the characters and everything. And I will say this to that point though, that every single one of these shows, there is a dead spot in the dead center of them. And they all do it, and it drives me crazy. It's like around episodes 7, 8, 9. There's like 1 or 2 episodes that just get so slow and so just like boring that you're like, just move past this point and get me to the rest of the show. And I wish they would lose that formula. They're stuck in a rut, and they all have that hallway fight scene too.
Yeah,
it's not always in a hallway. Yeah,
they always do it. Even like Defender had it, where they all four of them were in the like close quarters fighting. But yeah, because you know why? Daredevil had it, and everyone was like, "Oh, that fighting scene was so great." It was like, you know, they were like, they raved about that first episode of Daredevil, and then ever since then they were like, "We had to have a hallway fight."
It's funny. Lisa and I were watching I think it was the first episode of Titans, and the fight in the alley. And Lisa looks to me and she goes, "They just had their hallway scene." It's becoming a thing that's synonymous, not just with Marvel now, just with action flicks in general, superhero flicks in general. Yeah. So there you go. I think it's going to come back as Heroes for Hire, and I think it's going to be on Netflix, personally.
I can see it be on either one.
Yeah, I can see it be on either one, but yeah.
Here's the thing. If they do go on Disney Play, do you think Disney would recast and do their own thing? Or do you think they would be like, since we produce Netflix, like Netflix didn't have any stake in it. You know, Netflix was just like a vehicle for it. They didn't like put up the money or anything. It's not like Star Trek Discovery where they paid for that show to be produced. You know, Disney paid for their stuff, so they own the rights to it after it leaves Netflix. If they would go and they would keep the same characters, or would they recast and do a whole new you know, this is fresh, like, you know, this is what we're doing right now.
I think if they were DC, they'd recast. But being Marvel, I think they have a little bit more loyalty to their brand than that, as far as their cinematic universes go. And so I think they'd probably keep the same cast, and I would want them to.
I hope they would.
I would hope they would.
I want the continuity, because I want to see how he gets out of that, and I want to see how Danny evolves from there. You know?
And again, that's why DC's having issues right now, in my opinion, because they always do like this, they're trying to do like a weird casting for their movies, and they're darkening up the universe. I don't know.
Well, yeah, DC's casting is just because I think this is just a problem with casting in general. Like, the reason why Christopher Reeve movie was so good is because it was an unknown. The reason why Batman 89 was so good is because it was an unexpected. Like, don't cast people just because they got big names. Like, you know, yeah, you need a name to get in the theater sometimes, but sometimes, you know, like, you can get away with that. Like, again, Marlon Brando was the name they got people in the theater for Superman.
Yeah, I mean, look at Iron Man. Even though Robert Downey Jr. now is a huge star, and yeah, he was an actor before that, he wasn't like that level.
He was at a lower point in his career.
He was not that level of a star.
His career.
Yeah,
Marvel made him a leading man again.
Yeah, and you know, built an entire franchise around him. So I mean, yeah, I think that's a better way to go.
Don't have to have 6 out. Like, if you have an ensemble cast and you have, like, say 5 members of your ensemble cast that are main stars.
Yeah.
3 of those or 4 of those don't have to be big names.
Yeah.
1 or 2 is okay. You know, and they don't even have to be the main stars. Have to be, like, again, Marlon Brando was the big name in the Superman movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, so I think you have to, like, really think about it. Don't try to go, you know, like, oh, we need big names, we need big splashy things. No, sometimes less is more. That's both, like, again, that's for any casting. Like, less is sometimes more.
The only other thing I was going to say about keeping the casting the same is because, I mean, even though it's very loose, they did technically set them within the same cinematic universe as the movies and the ABC show. So I would rather have that continuity for that reason too.
And if it's on Disney Play, they can actually start time, because again, one of my theories is that the reason why Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on in June this year is because 1, Avengers 4, and 2, so they can actually move it from ABC to Disney Play and have that be like a cornerstone of their thing, then you can actually have them cross over with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Or if they do those movies of other characters, which I don't know if you guys saw it, but we got a picture of Pepper in her rescue armor. Like maybe Pepper will be because Gwyneth Paltrow has done TV. She's not a TV snob, you know. Maybe she would do her own rescue series on Disney Play. You know, that could be one of those because a lot of people complaint is that we don't get enough Pepper. Kat is one of those people who complains that we don't get enough Pepper. But I'm saying, and I've seen other people say it too. But so they could go with that too. So it would be a great chance for them to get those characters involved into their cinematic universe and get people who critique that, you know, and I'm one of those people, that they set up this cinematic universe and every show has to be set in the cinematic universe, but no one steps foot and crosses over into any of it, you know?
Right.
Like, we don't have any connect. All they have is like, oh, yeah, remember the New York incident? You know, like that. They all share that type of thing, but there's no, like, real crossover. The only one who had it, honestly, was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that's when, like, Sif came in, was on it. I think it was Sif, right?
Yeah, well, Sif was on it, and Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury was on one episode at the end.
Yeah, he was on the one episode. But, I mean, that's about it. Like, there's no other connective tissue to the cinematic universe. This would be a great way to do that.
But, yeah, I mean, Coulson, he's definitely connective tissue there. But, yeah, no, I totally understand your point, and I agree with it. And, yeah, if it was... That was the weird thing to me. If they had gone to Hulu instead of Netflix, since ABC has such a big stake in Hulu, they could have done that anyway. So
yeah, that would have been really good.
Yeah,
because now with the deal, they own 66% of it.
Yeah. Tevye says except Runaways. Well, except Cloak and Dagger and Legion as well, but you know, Legion's fine, so I don't really count. But
if you want to count Legion, then you also have to count The Gifted.
Yeah, that's true. But again, those were Fox properties before the merger.
Yeah, those are Fox properties. And according to Jeff Loeb, Runaways and Cloak and Dagger are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay.
So those two are in it. The only two that aren't is Legion and The Gifted.
Yeah.
And that's because they're Fox.
Right. Interesting. I didn't realize that they had made that declaration.
Yeah, Jeff Loeb said both Cloak and Dagger and Runaways are set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We haven't seen any connective tissue yet, but according to the guy who runs Marvel TV, it's in there.
I wonder if New Warriors will be. That would be weird. That version of it, anyway.
I'm still like. I hope it's better than Inhumans. Worse, but like I'm hoping it's better than that.
I don't know how it could be worse, Jay.
It has me nervous.
I don't know how it could be worse. I
don't either, but I'm hoping it's not bad. I'm hoping it's a good one because like Runaways is good. You know, all the Marvel shows are good. I would say they don't make Flash that DC makes, but I think they're good.
Yeah, I agree. So, I'm gonna watch Flash tonight. By the way, finally, I haven't watched it yet. I haven't watched a single episode. Well, there's only 3, right, so far.
You watched all? Yeah, you watched all last season, right?
Yeah,
of all the shows. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the only one I'm behind on from last season now is Legends.
Yeah, Legends has 1 episode out so far. Yeah. Flash has 3.
Arrow has 2. Right.
Arrow has 2, and Black Lightning has 3. Yeah, 3.
Supergirl has 2. Right.
No, 2. 2.
Yeah. Black Lightning. I haven't watched any of it at all.
The third one will be Sunday. That's why I got a little confused because it's like they began the week on a Monday and they ended on a Sunday, where it should start on Sunday and end on a Saturday. But That's how the calendar goes, people. For all those that don't know, because I had to explain it to a couple people, a week officially starts on a Sunday. You look at a calendar, any standard calendar is Sunday through Saturday.
Yep.
That's the week. Then there's the work week and all that, but a standard week is Sunday to Saturday.
I have that conversation with Lisa all the time because she considers the work week the Monday through.
Yeah, Sunday. A lot of people do. I think it was Kat. I told her that I was like, it's Sunday to Saturday, because I think it was Kat and Jeremy and because it was when I was doing my the grid for the medium mass for the upfronts. I said I started with Sunday because that's the beginning of the week, and they were like, Monday's the beginning of the week. I was like, no, Sunday's the beginning of a week.
I think I was on when you were doing that. I remember this conversation. I think I was there.
Yeah,
I think I was agreeing with you. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I could pull this calendar right here off the wall and show.
Yeah, I think someone said it. Not all calendars like in the world are. I was like, well, we're talking about America. I was like, so it's the beginning of the week is a Sunday because some calendars I think in other countries do start on like Monday.
It is confusing though. You got to admit because we call the weekend Saturday and Sunday, and it doesn't make sense logically. But you know,
yeah. Again, I see where people go with that, but I just hate when like they do that because like even on TV, especially TV, you pick up the TV guide, it starts on Sunday.
Yeah,
Sunday is the first thing in the TV guide, and it goes Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And when they did that with Supergirl, I'm like, I hate it because it messes up my. Because again, I thought it was 3 episodes in because I'm waiting for that 3rd episode Sunday.
Yeah.
But I think this season is pretty good for all of them so far. Black Lightning, I'm still like that on it because I don't like the subject matter that much of Black Lightning. But great writing, just I don't agree with the subject matter.
Black Lightning is like Punisher for me. I just can't bring myself to start it. Just because of the heaviness that I've heard about it.
I'm not interested in Black Lightning at all.
You know, I want to give it a shot. I want to give Punisher a shot eventually too. It's just
Black Lightning just bothers me because every single white person in there is racist.
Yeah,
like there's no unracist, like no white person has not done anything that's not racist. Even the good guy Gamby has done racist things in the show.
Wow.
Even though he's been forgiven. Like he still was a part of the system that wanted to drug and experiment on the black citizens. So like I still don't see it as like a realistic approach to bring up the race.
It's heavy-handed, is what you're saying. Yeah,
very much.
Yeah,
so
see, that's what I've heard. Yeah, so that's why I'm hesitant to get into it, just because of I don't like anything that's heavy-handed like that just kind of beats you over the head with something.
There's a way to approach. Like I think honestly, Luke Cage does it better. Like when they handle race, they don't do it to where it's like we're beating you over the head with it, and like every single white person's racist. Like it shows like this is a realistic approach. This is how the world really is. You know, they open up your eyes to it more. Where I think Black Lightning is like, this is how we see the world.
It's CW though, and they kind of tend to beat you over the head with everything.
Oh yeah.
No matter what the show or what the issue.
Again, it's the universe that brought you #feminism. Like that was the whole theme of that episode of Flash. #feminism. They said it like 20 times that episode.
All important issues. Any issue. I don't care what it is. You don't need to be beat over the head with it. That's all I'm saying.
Definitely.
MT dropped in the comments, asked us, think we'll ever get a Moon Knight show? And
I always wanted one.
Then he said, if we ever get a Moon Knight show, who should play Moon Knight? Man, I have no idea who should play him, but I always thought, like, ever since they announced these Netflix shows, that I thought that would be a natural way to go to put him in that universe. Huh?
David Boreanaz.
He's a little old now, isn't he, to play?
He still looks young. He still looks youthful. Yeah. And if his father's any indication, he has good genes because his father looks young. His father was my weatherman in Philadelphia. Like David is from the area. His father was our weatherman for a long time. But Yeah, I would just say him because I see him playing so many different type of characters. Like he could play the dark brooding kind, the light-hearted kind. You know, like he could play so many different shades of it. And he's got the skills, he's got the physique, he's got the look. I think he would be able to bring Mark Spector to life and all his personalities.
Yeah. MT says, I think Rami Malek and the creator of Mr. Robot should do Moon Knight. I'm not sure who Rami Malek is. Is that the star of Mr. Robot, or is that somebody else entirely? I don't know. I've only seen like 2 episodes of Mr. Robot. I'm not as familiar with it. Yeah, that is a star. Okay, I looked him up. Well, he can definitely play kind of both roles there. That guy. I could see that. It'd be a different take on it.
I think he's not physically built. Like
you think what?
I don't think he's physically it. Like physically, I don't see him as Mark Spector.
Yeah, he doesn't have that presence. But if they went a different route, that's what I was saying. I could see the psychosis side of it. I think he can play that. Tebby also asked if Tebby asked if we would see a Blade series, and Downrock says I want to see Moon Knight on HBO. Well, yeah, because they could go Spawn level with Moon Knight. You could do some crazy stuff there.
Yeah,
just not more analysis.
Honestly, I want to see and this is a rights thing because they had to get it from Universal. Yeah. I want to see.
I heard Wesley Snipes is in the running to do another.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes is too old to do that. I think.
Agree.
He wants to. I know he's too old. I'm against it, but he wants to do it.
SM Down asked what show needed a definitive ending. Well, Iron Fist and Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Both of those are the ones that are canceled, unless they get definitive endings in Jessica Jones.
Tebby, a question: why can't we get a Blade and Ghost Rider series with Blade, Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider series? Well, Ghost Rider,
stupid.
Well, I mean, he's appeared on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so he's already established in the universe for
and
one.
That too.
Yeah,
and it's not Johnny Blaze; it's the other one. I can't think of his name now.
But, you gotta get Nicolas Cage, Johnny Blaze,
Robbie, right?
Robbie. Yeah.
Wesley Snipes and Nicolas Cage in the same movie.
Oh, no.
God, talk about destruction.
Wesley Snipes is 56. David Boreanaz is 49.
Well, see,
I didn't think, but David Boreanaz does not look it. Like you look at the two of them, Wesley Snipes looks like he's an older man, where David Boreanaz looks like he could be it. And again, here's another thing. What's the guy from Firefly? I can't think of his name right now.
Nathan Fillion?
Yeah.
No,
I just want to look at his name. I just want to look up him, see how old he is, because he's
pretty young. He's in a new TV show that's coming out.
Rookie. 47. It just came out. The first episode's out.
Mm-hmm.
He's 47. He does a lot of action and stuff still. So
yeah, his age shows a little bit more though.
Yeah, his age does show, but people still want him to play Green Lantern. Like
that's true.
People still want him to be Hal Jordan, which again, yeah. I mean, and
Tevia says, "Stop casting Nick Cage, Chris."
No, Tevia, you want the movie? That's what you're gonna get. Nicolas Cage. You have no choice. Either Nicolas Cage or drop the movie.
MT says Nick Cage is crazy enough to play the Joker. Oh,
he's don't say there. That. He could. He could.
And he is 54 years old.
He totally can play Johnny Blaze.
Yeah, he can age bad. I'm sorry.
Nick Cage could play the laughing Batman. There you go. We're not supposed to talk about Nick Cage or horses on this show. That was established years ago, people. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what they do. I don't think they're going to add any more shows if they're canceling shows, at least like additional characters, until they figure out what they're doing, or until they've made an announcement whether it's they're staying on Netflix or going to the Disney thing. So
just a real fast thing.
Yeah.
Going by ages. Mike Coulter, Luke Cage, 42.
Whoa.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
He's
He does not
right-
look
almost
42.
my age. Because he was born August 26, 76. So
Wow. Yeah. He doesn't look it. He's aged well.
yeah,
So far.
Really well.
like, I think David
Hey,
Boreanaz.
Chris.
I think
really well.
I have my
He's
hand
our
in front of
age.
my mouth because I'm doing my work. But no, he aged really well.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I think David Boreanaz is still in the running for me. I think he could play him really well.
Chris is trying to say we look old, Jay.
What? Where does this have to do with you and Jay when I'm talking about Luke Cage?
Because we're
You look
close
like
to the
Luke
same
Cage.
age. We're close to the same age,
No,
though.
you're not.
Are you kidding?
He was saying Mike Coulter aged really well. We're the same age. In a couple months, I will be 42, and then a couple months later, Brant will be 42.
Yeah.
Like, we're
You
right
guys
there.
are about 42.
Brant's literally 3 months younger than me to the day.
Yeah.
You ain't. Don't listen to them. They're lying. They make their birthdays to look older. Full
Yeah,
of crap.
Andy,
that's the thing
Andy
people
swears
do
I'm lying.
when they're past 16. Yeah. Then they try to look older.
Andy swears I lie about my age. That I'm saying I'm older. I was like, why would anybody say that they're older unless they're like 13? They want to be older.
Exactly.
I mean-
yeah.
Well, maybe it's a
I-
trend. You guys decided to
I
keep
per-
going.
Yeah. I purposely don't talk about my age so nobody knows.
I really don't care because I feel like this.
Yeah.
I'm appreciative for down my age, so I don't care. Like
I'm-
I get older, but I don't get old, and that's
Yeah.
what I like.
And that's
It's like
the thing.
if you really think about it, if you look into me enough, like my gamer tag is GG Prime 77. It's kind of easy to figure out, but you know, Gonzo Goose 77 at yahoo.com. Whatever.
You see that you like the 70. You just like the number 77.
I do like the number 7, and you know, but still.
Just want to double it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
Could have tripled it, then nobody would have known.
Alan says Brant is 25 and Jay is 23, so I guess I look younger than you, Brant.
oh wow,
Wow.
And
Chris
That's
is not
just
18. Chris is 5.
Right.
Get it right,
I
Alan.
am 6. I just turned 6 this year.
no, you're perpetual 4 going on 5.
Okay, we'll go perpetually then. Jeez, I'm going down instead of up.
We're getting a live action My Hero Academia movie. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I thought it was animated.
There is
there's
an animated movie that just came out.
Animated. Okay, yeah.
There's been talks about live action My Hero Academia. There's been talks about that for like 2 years since season 1 came out. There's been talks about it. So we haven't heard anything yet. So it's just like talks.
Okay. I'm not sure how I feel about that. That's like I don't think I would ever. I mean, I don't like the series, and I stopped after episode 1. But I don't think I'd ever want to see like a live action One
I
Punch
love My
Man.
Hero Academia. But I
Oh yeah,
think,
no, I was talking about something else. A One Punch Hero, a One Punch Man, whatever his name is.
okay, One Punch Man. Okay.
I like My
I
Hero
think-
Academia.
I think the problem with making it live action is that the track record with making anime into live action is as good as making video game movies into live action. Like it doesn't. They don't usually end up well. They don't translate well.
Right.
You know.
Alan,
So-
your math is messed up, dude. But thanks for trying.
Thanks for playing. Come back next time.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you, Jay. It doesn't usually work well. Dragon Ball Z.
And
Sure.
not considered anime, but you also have like what's that show called? I can't think of it. Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's not technically anime, but a lot of people put it in that same realm. But you also have like Death Note, which is the worst. I don't care what anybody says. To me, that is like one of the best animes, and it was the worst freaking
Reality, yeah.
Anybody who's seen that series,
I'm in the minority probably, but I liked the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. But I haven't watched the
cartoon. I didn't mind it that much. I didn't mind it that much. I seen the cartoon. I know where people are like, I hate that, but I'm not really hating on it. There's a new Avatar: Last Airbender live action series coming on Netflix though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've only seen live action. I've only seen a handful of the cartoon, so that I didn't have much to base it on. But I thought it was okay.
That's why I seen it. I seen it before I watched the series. So. But there's not that many good anime movies. That I don't think there's any anime live action movies except for the ones that are made in Japan. Like Death Note in Japan, good. Death Note in America.
MT says, "Oh man, he's trying to." MT says, "We got a good Dragon Ball Z movie. It's called Man of Steel."
Yeah.
We're not getting into that again. SM Down says, besides Ben Affleck, what main star did DC get? Henry Cavill wasn't a big star, neither was Gal Gadot. Jason Momoa, for one.
Yeah, Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa. Are they talking about what was the question? Ben Affleck, what main star did DC get? Henry
Cavill? Because we were talking about leading actors and things like that.
They got what's her name? Ma Kent had hardly no lines, but she got paid big time for that. You got
Amy Adams is a big star. She was
Amy Adams. I was going to say her too. Yeah. So there goes three right there. Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing I don't understand about any movie. Why don't they just use the actor who plays Clark/Superman to play Jor-El?
Yeah, I know.
Think about it. Comic books and animated series, Jor-El always looks just like a grown Superman.
Yeah.
Can't just use the same actor.
No, I agree. Chris, bad echo.
Oh, sorry.
It's like echo.
There's a lot of echo. There's a lot of things where they spent that money on actors and they shouldn't have.
Yeah, so he drops. Okay. I was wondering when he kept unmuting. It's like, dude, you're gonna unmute, at least say something. Hello. Okay. A little better.
And says Zack Snyder should have made Dragon Ball Z.
Oh God, don't make me die.
Zack Snyder,
anime series was awesome. Yes, I do think Death Note anime is my second favorite anime. My first one, and I tell everybody that they need to watch this. Just a really, really good anime. Why can't I think of the name of it now? It just like totally escaped my head.
Well, while you're thinking about that, Tevye is right. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. He is a big star. He sucked, but he was a big star.
Garbage in reality.
Well, I was just talking about his role as Lex Luthor.
Oh, you can talk about his roles all you want. He's a piece of garbage in reality.
All right. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Code Geass is the name of it.
Oh, yeah.
The character's name. I knew his name was like Lelouch, but I couldn't think of the name of the show. Code Geass, the best anime you'll ever watch in your life. I'm telling you guys, watch them. Watch them. Oh. It has the best anime. It's the best anime ever created. Code Geass.
Lawrence Fishburne too, by the way.
Yeah, I said it. I said
you did say that. I missed that one. So
the only one a lot. Was Jesse Eisenberg, and that's Eisenberg because I don't like him. I don't think he should be acting.
And if you go before this current crop of movies, Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Liam Neeson. I mean,
the guy who plays Alfred. What's his name? I can't think of it.
Michael Caine.
No, it was Jeremy Irons.
Oh, that version, yeah.
Yeah, in this version, like Jeremy Irons, he's a big name. So like you got a lot of names. They have a lot of stars, and they paid. Like again, does Ma Kent really need to be in that movie to get that paycheck? I mean,
not really.
Honestly, I love Christopher Reeve's movie, and I don't think Marlon Brando should have got the paycheck that he got, especially because the guy never learned designs. Yeah. He
never
literally
did
had
anything.
And
all his lines were written on objects in the thing. Like he had lines written on the baby's diaper when he was standing over the baby. Check it out. It's a real fact.
No, I know. He
Right
looks
now,
like he's reading half the time.
Alan says the only superstar DC has gotten that was a big name actor was Ben Affleck, but you go to the Marvel side and it's a who's who of Hollywood. We just told you a bunch of stars in the DC movies, man. They weren't the main character, but there were big stars in those movies. It doesn't have to be the main character. It just has a big star in the movie. It's all about drawing people to the box office.
Yeah, and they still get paid, bank, and that goes out of their budget. So say you have a $300 million budget, and Lawrence Fishburne says, let's say he got paid $20 million for that role. Even though it wasn't a big role, he got $20 million. Say, I can't think of her name now, the lady who played Ma Kent. I can't think of her name for some reason. Anyway, say she got $25 million for that. That takes out of the budget, So that's why they do it because they want the people to come in and see them. But it's like it gets to the point where they don't need them.
Yeah. Diane Keaton.
Diane Keaton. They really did not need Eisenberg because
no.
He got good. He got a good penny for that.
Yeah, he did. Downrock's trying to incite something. He said, I thought Christopher Reeves was overrated as Superman. Sorry.
Everybody has their own opinion. I mean, I still think he's the best.
Everybody has a different favorite Superman.
Yeah.
He's the best Superman in the movies, for me.
In the movies?
Yeah, just in the movies. Live action, not
my Superman growing up. So
yeah,
it's definitive.
I think Henry Cavill could have been. I'll say that.
Still could be if they did it right.
Like every actor has potential. Like honestly, even Brandon Routh had potential to be.
Oh yeah.
If
they didn't make him look so much like a Christopher Reeves knockoff, yeah.
And the script wasn't written like the Christopher Reeve knockoff.
After seeing him on Legends, though, I can never see him as anything but a joke. I'm sorry.
But I've seen him in other things. That's why it's a good actor.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Chuck, and I watched a lot of that, and I've seen him in some like rom-com stuff and different things.
I like him as Adam, though.
He's my least favorite character on that show. Honestly, I kind of wish he would just go away.
Alan says, but I always remember Affleck as the guy from Mallrats.
See, I just remember, was he in Mallrats?
Yes, he was.
Okay. It was a good.
I remember him more from Chasing Amy than Mallrats.
Yeah, Chasing Amy was what I remember him as.
Like I always associate him with Good Will Hunting.
Right.
Because I was like
that was in Chasing Amy, actually.
And as far as the who's who on the Marvel side, like we said, Robert Downey Jr. became a bigger star again when Marvel made him Iron Man. Chris Evans was like he wasn't a huge star until he got Captain America.
He wasn't a nobody. He wasn't an unknown, but he wasn't like he wasn't a nobody, but he wasn't like an it actor. Now he's an it actor. Right. Marvel made a lot of it actors, but they also have some people like Samuel L. Jackson in there. Got the beat. That was the name that brought in a lot of the bank.
I was just saying as far as like Marvel. I was just saying as far as the titular, however you say that word, roles. Like Chris Hemsworth. I mean, he's a star, but he wasn't like a huge mega star until Marvel. So it's like, they weren't casting big major stars leading men in their roles at first. They just became that. Yeah,
and Ben Affleck was a big name when he became
Captain America's miscast. You're out of your mind. I'm sorry.
No, that's
completely different.
I would say Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans. Like they're right there, like as best cast in a superhero movie. It is Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans. Like
I completely agree.
he embodies Captain America.
Yeah,
I look at him, I just want to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just like that guy that you just want to salute, like when you see Chris Evans.
Yeah. Chris Pratt as Captain America? No. I could not see that. I'm sorry. He's too much of a jokester.
Yeah. Tabby, do you mean Chris Evans?
Yeah, Chris Evans is Captain America.
Yeah, because he says he's Captain America. It's Chris Evans. You got your
Chris Pratt is Star-Lord.
That's Star-Lord. He is Star-Lord.
Star-Lord. Chris Evans is Captain America. Chris Hemsworth is Thor, and Chris, what's his name? Steve Trevor's actor. He also played in Star Trek.
Chris
Pine. Chris Pine.
Pine. Yeah, that's
Chris Pine is Steve Trevor / Captain Kirk. So those are your.
SM Down asked, Angel's dad was a weatherman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He must be like 15 minutes behind us.
Yeah. I think he's watching it.
Yeah. He was a weatherman. I can't think of his name right now because it's not Boreanaz. I know that it's Dave something. Let's see, David Boreanaz's father. I'm going to look that up.
Who's Chris Rock? What?
Chris Rock?
Who's Chris Rock in the superhero universe?
He's nobody in the superhero universe. Chris Rock hasn't been around for a minute.
He's Dave Roberts.
Alan says Chris Evans will always be Captain America, and if you want to go further, he's the first Human Torch. Yeah, he was great as Human Torch too.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's like a testament to the actor because he could play that cocky,
brash,
Storm, and then make you believe that he's also like this super patriotic, wise and together Captain America. Dave Roberts in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was the main weatherman for WPVI TV in Philadelphia from 1983 until his retirement in 2009.
Wow, cool.
I just knew that he was our weatherman. Like I remember watching him. So
yeah.
And PVI, I believe, is Channel 6. Well, ABC.
Empty has a question for Chris, and then we'll start wrapping up. Hey, Chris, have you played Spider-Man on the PS4 yet?
No, Mike was supposed to finish, but he hasn't touched it, so I'm probably going to end up erasing his file, starting over as myself.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Soon. I'm doing, right now on Twitch, I'm doing Assassin's Creed. I'm very, very, very into Assassin's Creed, so I'll probably still be playing that for a bit.
Cool. All right, so we're over 2 hours in, so we should probably start wrapping up now. So it's time to do what's coming out, and going on. Chris, we'll start with you.
Oh, we were just talking about me. So Assassin's Creed on Twitch. I've been sick the past 2 weeks. I have a lot to catch up on. Tomorrow is going to actually be one of my busiest days because of that. So there's going to be a few videos on my channel, a few videos on Brooklyn Boys. I'm working on the new project. Like I said, that's going to be announced so far still the middle of November. But, I mean, anytime from the beginning of November to the middle. I'll obviously give you all a heads up about that before any videos go up, but it'll be an update video. Dark Avenger review should be back on time starting next week. This week I've not been feeling good, so normally it goes up today, go up probably tomorrow night. We'll see. Other than that, just expect a couple other things here, there, and everywhere from me. I'm slowly catching up after being 2 weeks out, so stay tuned.
Cool. Jay?
Just did a Command Center review for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 32. Check that out. Big things were revealed for that universe. Let's see. Tomorrow is Media Manage. We're doing Halloween 2018 movie.
Sorry. Sorry.
I'm not gonna say anything about that.
Can't. No, you can't. You're not allowed. You never do it. You have to wait till after media.
Yeah, I always wait till media minutes to give my thing because I like people not to know my opinion on it. But yeah, so that would be tomorrow night, 10 o'clock p.m. Saturday is another Media Madness. We're doing 2 this week, and that's DCTV, because we had to wait for Legends of Tomorrow to actually appear. And then, let's see, Sunday is Comic Book Corner, where we're going to do Batman the Long Halloween. And you'll also find out what the
Comic
next
Book Club.
Yeah, Comic Book Club. Why did I say Comic Book Corner?
Because that's my show.
I was looking at Instagram earlier, and I saw Mike's post on it, so that's probably what's in my head. But Comic Book Club, the 4th edition of it, we're doing Batman the Long Halloween. So you read it, join us. If you haven't read it, go grab it, read it now, and join us on that show. That would be 10 o'clock on Sunday night.
Little plug. DC Universe has it up now.
Yeah, it is up now. Cool.
Yeah, I think it came out on the 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
It premiered on like the 23rd or something. So go check that out. It's on the DC Universe if you have it, like Chris said. That would be on Sunday at 10 o'clock p.m. And then Tuesday is Frontline Live. We do our top 5. We do the news. We do worst pick. We do most anticipated. If you want to add your top 5 and your worst pick, go onto our Discord. Every video that comes on the Frontline channel is in the description. There's also a link on the banner, and there's also a link on our main site at comicfrontline.com. Go check out all those links and check out those sites. And follow Comic Frontline on all over social media at Comic Frontline, and me all over at Comic Book Theater, minus the R for Twitter, though. So it's Comic Book Theater. So just think of me as being Boston or British, because neither one of those people say they're ours. So, and then, yeah, that's it.
Cool. And Chris, MT says, get well.
Oh, thank you, MT. I'm getting a lot better. Hopefully by next week, everything will be back to normal.
All right. So for me, always check out my channel at Brant Fowler, Monday Musings on Mondays. And check me out on social media at Brant Fowler, patreon.com/Brant Fowler. Early access to audio versions of the Zone 4 podcast and access to Zone 4 Aftermath, which is our after show that usually goes up on Mondays. And everything Last Number Press, Last Number Press across social media, Zone 4 podcast. And check out my weekly comic rankings right here on Comic Frontline on Tuesdays. That's it for me.
Check out the Patreon at patreon.com/Brant Fowler. It's the links in the chat.
Yeah. And also, if you happen to be walking around Alamo City Comic Con this Saturday, try to spot me because I'll be there. I won't be set up. I'll be walking around.
It's like, where's Waldo?
Yeah, where's Brant? So look for
wear a red and white striped shirt.
I'm not wearing a striped shirt, but you can find me. So, and that's going to wrap us up. So, Jay, read us out.
Yes, we like to thank the official bands of Zone 4, the Ray Wall Band and Society's Play that you hear on the show each episode. We are also proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. You can find us right here on Comic Frontline every Friday or occasional Wednesday, and also on comicspodcast.com, Stitcher, iTunes, and of course, zone4podcast.com. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for us, send those to Comic Frontline. Send them to zone4podcast@gmail.com. And as always, thanks for listening, and you are now leaving the fantastic Zone 4.
Bye, everybody.
Iron Fist is still the best.